Hi, I'm John Bigham-Hall. I'm director of Teatro Mundi. We're a centre for research and experimentation in the culture of cities. We're concerned with the way that public life in cities is staged, and we bring together artists with urbanists to develop new approaches, new ways of thinking, new language, and new artistic experimentations to look at public life in cities. I'll be bringing together the programme for these 3 residencies that form the School for Sonic Memory, first in Athens, then in Alexandria, and then in Marseille next year.
My name is Andrea Cetrulo and I'm program curator at Teatro Mundi, and I am co-curating the Alexandria Nomadic project with my colleague John Bigham-Hall, which will take place between Marseille, Alexandria and Athens. As of late, I've been focusing on the role of myth, storytelling, and transdisciplinary approaches to seeing the world and reality and constructing a reality that transcends pure practical or pragmatic views of the world. And so this is done in a way that the exploration that I have been doing, it relates to myth, and it has a lot to do, as I said, with magic.
The School for Sonic Memory, for me, this title comes out of an idea that it's not just about sound as an object, it's not just about heritage as a set of pre-existing things in the city. This project is really about bringing together people, artists working across different forms to share and actually develop completely new ideas and approaches for how we can remember, how we can listen to the city, how we can start to unearth different layers of meaning that are both past and present, and also how this can enable us to develop kind of new resilience or new kind of creative approaches to living together in the city for the future. We had a huge number of responses to this call, I think around 250 applicants from all over Europe, also from the southern Mediterranean and the eastern Mediterranean, and people also, of course, from many backgrounds who are living within those spaces. And I think that the diversity of practices within the application says a lot actually about this idea of kind of framing shared questions that don't belong to any one particular discipline, because we had researchers, sound artists, musicians, sociologists, activists, performance artists, visual artists.
It's very interesting that we have the possibility of doing this project as a nomadic residency between these 3 historically connected port cities that are, as I mentioned, Marseille, Alexandria and Athens, as they share a history of myth, and they also share a history of narrative storytelling that has traveled through these bodies of water and has traveled with people and has been a kind of way of sharing and of building knowledge, of knowledge production. I think, we're basically talking about myth, about shared storytelling, about water, and these will be the points of departure, or if you like, points of entry rather than departure, for the exploration of these themes in the residency.
Fundamentally, the idea of Teatro Mundi is to bring together people from across disciplines, from the arts, but of course the arts is not just one thing. People working in choreography, people working in music, sound, writing, and all of the ways that those practices already have of constructing the reality that we live amongst. That's kind of the idea of the stage. It's a constructed reality, and that's how we think about kind of public life. So for us, the way that we try and do that is to kind of pose a shared question or set a shared space that the different forms of artistic production as well as kind of architecture and urbanism are already dealing with, even if they don't necessarily realize it or make it explicit. So by talking about sonic memory, We're talking about something that already exists within film, within poetry and language, within music, but it also already exists in the way that architecture creates particular acoustic spaces, in the way that spaces are even designed for some of these practices. So for us, the idea is that if we create this shared space, then no one is on the outside of that. None of these practices coming together are the ones that are being asked to kind of inform something else. This is already a shared concern. So that's our job, myself and my colleague Andrea, is very much to kind of frame this shared set of questions. And then by working together from these different points of view on that shared set of questions, inevitably practices start to seep into one another, start to influence one another.
Sound and water are both containers, if you like, or carriers of multiplicity. So it is a way of deconstructing notions of nation, of specific local myths, as if they would be national emblems or kind of artificial constructions, but more thinking of how they have flowed and how they have been built and rebuilt through history and based on the vestiges or on the ruins of previous civilizations.
We'll get back to everyone afterwards, after the residencies, with some news on the events that will be coming up in both 2022 and 2023, sharing the outcomes of this project.
We're hoping that the concept itself of nomad would be explored and also enhanced as a way of crossing disciplines in the line of the work that we do at Teatro Mundi, which borrows from different formats and disciplines and is never static. And although it pays attention to local issues and locality, it also tries to bridge these specificities by making them somehow universal, respecting their plurality.